Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So today we are having a discussion about a movie named Maze Runner. So through the lens of our professional engineering society codes, which is code of ethics, we will be looking at the ethical dilemma, diversity, workplace responsibility, and many more. So today we are here having three panel with us, which is the first panel is Amir Fitri, second panel is Fatin Erina Safia, and also the last panel is Nuliana Shafika. So we start with the first panel. What your opinion about the movie?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Donian, for the speech. I'm gonna talk about the background of the movie that we have chosen. So the movie that we have watched is The Maze Runner. Maze Runner is about at the beginning. The main character is Thomas, who is a new incomer into the glade, which is a big maze. Uh, they are trying to wake up in a mysterious place called the glade. um, with no memory of the outside world. Also, there are a group of teenagers trapped in the giant maze and must work together through the obstacle to survive and to find an escape of the glade. As the story unfolds, they found out that they are part of the experiment conducted by an organization as known as Wicked, and they are trying to find a cure for a deadly virus. And Arina?
Thanks, Amir. Now, when we analyze the movie based on professional codes of ethics, like those from BEM, Board of Engineers Malaysia, or NSPE, National Society of Professional Engineers US, we can see already that WCKD's action raised major red flags. First, one principle says engineer must prioritize public health, safety, and welfare above all. But in the movie, WCKD puts teenager in dangerous, life-threatening situations without proper consent or protection. This clearly violates their ethical responsibilities. So next, Liana.
Exactly, Arina. Another important ethical guideline is about honesty and transparency in communication. Wicked hides the true purpose of the maze from the participants, manipulating them without their knowledge. In engineering practice, this would be considered deceptive and unethical because engineers must be truthful and avoid any conflict of interest.
Oh, good points from our three panels. So now we move on to the stakeholders in this situation. For the first panel, how about you?
You.
From you, man. From you, man. From you, man.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let's continue the discussion. Right. Stakeholder here include the gliders themselves, the teenagers trapped inside, Wicked as the experimenters, and even the broader society outside the maze affected by the flare virus. From an ethical standpoint, this organization, Wicked, had a duty of care toward the gliders, but instead treating them as a disposable subject, not as people with right and dignity of themselves. This again against ethical principle that says engineer must hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. What about you, Arina?
Adding to that, the gliders, despite being young, show ethical behavior among themselves. They set up their own mini society with rules, emphasizing teamwork, leadership, and fairness, which reflects ethical workplace value. How about you, Liana?
Yeah, even though they're not engineers, their behavior shows importance engineering ethics like respect, responsibility, and working together for common good.
Nice analysis, everyone. So now we moving on to the diversity, which is the role of gender and also the ethic in the movie. So let's continue with the first panel, Amir.
Right. In this movie, the Maze Runner, the diversity for me is very limited. There's only one female character, which is Teresa, and a handful of gliders from different ethnic backgrounds, such as the Korean and the Nigerian character. Even though the group was diverse in ethnicity, the story didn't focus much on their different different backgrounds. It was more about their shared survival, the way they survive uh, by the monster and stuff. However, having diverse perspective helped this group came in with different strategies for solving the maze. And you, Arina, what about you?
For me, in your STEM fields, diversity brings innovation because people with different experience approach problems in different ways. In the Glade, despite coming from different backgrounds, the characters has to collaborate, showing how diversity can be a strength in solving complex challenges. So, do you, Liana?
I agree with you, Alina. But one challenge, though, was the lack of female representation. In STEM fields today, women are still underrepresented, and the Maze Runner unintentionally reflects that problem. Having more female characters could have shown even more diverse leadership and problem solving styles.
Yeah, and many more great points. Now let's talk about the strategies the graders use to overcome the challenge. So for the first, how about you for the first panel?
So for the challenge used to overcome challenge by the character. So first, they organize themselves into teams. There are three. They are divided into three teams, which is runners, bladers, and medics. Each of this group with a clear role. This division of labor mirrors real engineering project management, where teamwork and clear communication are critical. And you, Arina?
For me, the strategy that I get from this movie, they do in this movie is they gather and analyze data. So every day the runners map the maze and recorded observations using a kind of primitive data collection method. This systematic approach reflects the ethical responsibility of engineers to be truth, diligent, and fact-based. So for you, Liana?
Exactly, I do see that in them. They also show resilience when setbacks happen, like when someone died, they still push forward with planning and improving their strategies. This determination is essential for real world engineers too, especially in high stakes projects.
All right, now what do we think about the final message or the theme of this movie is? Ameh?
You.
Sorry, ya Allah. Sorry guys. So for me, it's about resilience, leadership, and also ethical choice under the pressure. Even they faced with impossible odds and obstacle, the gladiators try to make ethical decision for the good of everyone and also for themselves. And Arena, what about you?
So it also touches on the dangers of unethical scientific experimentation. No matter how noble your goal is, like saving humanity, it doesn't justify violating human rights along the way. So how about you, Liana?
I do see your point. The movie reminds us that engineers and scientists have a huge responsibility to protect lives, not just chase results.
Very true. So finally, do we think the movie was a good or a bad movie overall? What uh, what what you guys think? For Ameh?
I think it's a good movie, very thrilling, and it's open up a very important conversation about ethics in science and engineering. Arena?
I agree with Ame. So this movie is entertaining, but also makes you think deeply about leadership, decision making, and the importance of putting people first. So how about you, Liana?
I also agree. Even though it's fictional, the lessons on ethics and teamwork are very relevant to real world STEM careers.
All right, thanks everyone for the great discussion. And thanks to our viewers and also audience for watching us. We hope you enjoy and got some insights from our panels and also their own knowledge. Thank you from us. That's all.